welcome back again. As promised, I'm coming to you guys with a book talk. 2016 hit and I told myself I was going to do more to read for pleasure rather than just reading for school. I've always loved reading, but in going through undergrad and grad school and having to read dry ass textbooks, reading for fun sort of lost its luster for me. But I'm getting back into the swing of things, and I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of what I have been reading throughout the summer, what I'm going to continue reading. So really, anything that I would want to see in a book talk, questions that I might have, I'm going to try and make sure that I do my due diligence to include in this video. But should I forget anything, author, if you guys have any specific questions in regards to a book or text or where I got my books from, I think most of these books are from thriftbooks.com. But I also do get them off Amazon and eBay. So just let me know if you guys have any questions or requests in regards to these book talks and what you guys would most like to see. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it. I think I'm going to start with the book that I'm reading currently, which is, drumroll please, it is the autobiography of Assata Shakur, written by her with a foreword by Angela Davis and Lennox S. Hines. So far, I love this book. I'm only about 3 chapters away from finishing it, and let me tell you, it's just so amazing to me that, this book was, in a time 30 years from ours, but the issues in our society, issues in Black community, issues that we're still debating on today, she hits on in this book. And just seeing her, life's journey and life's coming into her own is really appealing to me, because I'm sort of going through the same situation. Well, not exactly, I'm not in jail, but just seeing how she's grown as a woman and coming to herself is really inspiring. And so I would definitely recommend this book to anyone, but especially young women of color, young Black women, young Black boys. Like, read this book for real. Like, it's the bee's knees. But I posted this a while ago on my Instagram. Having read it, this was like the first book of 2016 that I feel like I've read. It is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I hope I said his last name right. But basically, I really love this book. It's very inspiring, and I almost forgot how much I enjoyed the art of storytelling. It was really fun to read. I finished it, I think, in like 3 days. And it was just, understanding the journey that you're on is for you. We all have big dreams. We all have big goals. But what we fail to realize is that the resources to accomplish these things are within us. And I feel like this is what this book touches on, is just sort of staying on that path. As you go along, you're going to have a lot of wants and needs and things that need to be taken care of. But as long as you stay focused on that end goal, baby, it's going to happen. So I feel like this is a very good book. My little sister actually put me onto this because she read it in school. She thought it was a little dry, but, well. Along those same lines, I have not read this book yet, but I actually have been recommended, or I've read that, if you really enjoyed The Alchemist, that this is next on your list to read. So this is Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. I have not read this yet, but I think this will be the next on my to read after I finish the autobiography of Assata Shakur. From what I can tell, it's along the same lines, of coming into oneself and learning these life lessons, about all those ups and downs that we go through. It's for a reason. What we lack is what we will gain through experience. The next book, whew, child. So this year, I don't even know how to describe 2016, but I just know this year has been both a giving one and a trying one. So it's brought some really serious life changes that I would have never dreamed of myself having gone through. So the next book is The 4 Agreements. This is by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I feel like it just really, at a spiritual level, yes, but I feel like it more so touches on those values that we have to keep intact every day. Those things that we don't realize we're doing is bringing that negative energy and that feeling that we sometimes have. Things aren't going our way, or we're just in a really bad funk, I feel like this book was one of those things that really helped me to take back my control of what was happening in my life. Because I'm not going to go through the whole 4 agreements, but the main, I would say my favorite agreement would be impeccable with your word. As we all know, words have power beyond our own understanding, but I feel like we don't understand how our own words have power on us as people. So I feel like at times we don't take into consideration how our own words are having that same effect on us as it is to the person we're speaking to. So, you know, if I make a comment like, you know, I'm having a bad skin day or something, I'm like, my skin is fugly, you know, that sort of negative speaking to oneself takes a root within you and in yourself. So you really start to believe these things and believe these thoughts, and they take hold, and it sort of spreads into every thought that you might have about yourself. One day I have bad skin, next day my hair is just a hot mess. You know, before then I feel really down and out about myself and I don't think I'm pretty. So, and at that point, you don't need anyone to say anything to you, because even if someone gave you a compliment, like, oh, you look really nice, to like, no, girl, my skin is all jacked up and I'm having this, you start pointing out a whole bunch of different flaws that this person never even saw about you. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like that negativity takes root within yourself. So speak positively to yourself, because you don't know how much your own words and what you say to others or even about yourself have that sort of effect. This one right here, yes, my entrepreneurs, my Black leaders, people who are interested in how to bounce back from the Black community, all of that is encompassed in this book. It is the Powernomics, the National Plan to Empower Black America. It's by Claude Anderson. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of him. You know, you see a whole bunch of memes on Instagram, you know, about his statements and his work. But really reading his text and seeing exactly how he lays it out, like, this book was written back in 2001, and not a damn thing has changed from what he's saying. He sort of foreshadowed what's going on right now. Like, from my people that live in the DMV area, he points out exactly what we see now as the end results of gentrification and, you know, buying out the little man in DC. So it's really just laying out everything. I'm talking about educators. He talks about Black education to Black students, you know, incarceration rates, real estate, Black owned business, Black buying power, Black voting power, just all of the power that we have within our communities, but we have yet to access for ourselves. So he really goes into detail about how we can get some of that back, but it starts with the foundation of knowing what the problem is and actually pointing out solutions. And that's what I really like about this book. He points out solutions of how we can get it done. Now, whether or not we're going to act on that. The ISIS paper, The Keys to the Colors. This is by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I actually started reading this book back in like February, March. But as school started picking up, I had to sit it down because I just didn't have time to read it. So I'm actually going to make it a point to finish this by the end of summer. I know it's like, girl. But no, what really interests me is that because she's a psychologist, she's getting to the root of why we think the way we think and why society is the way it is. Sort of like how, you know, sort of like this thought process and where white supremacy stems from, and how do we eradicate that from our being, from our society and culture, and how it's so deeply rooted that a lot of the things that we do and say play into that. You know, the whole thing about angel's food cake versus devil's food cake. You know, why is angel's food cake white or light colored and then devil's food cake is chocolate? And she really gets into some really controversial stuff. So, you know, you'll probably be reading it like, girl, you wildin'. But from what I've read so far, she's on her stuff. She's very meticulous about what she's saying and about how deep down this rabbit hole she's going. I often love poetry and just the written word and expression in general. I often write myself. So I follow someone, her name is Valencia Clay. She's a teacher in New York, and she's really inspiring to me. And a lot of these books she actually recommended on her Instagram page, which is Valencia_Valencia. So if you guys want to check her out, please do so. But one of the books she said she recommended or that she was reading is Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. I believe I've read like maybe one or two of her poems, but I've never actually read a book written by her. So I'm really excited to, delve into this and sort of see, what sort of stuff she's working with. Another book that I saw recommended by Miss Valencia Clay is Wears Lipstick. I thought this was really interesting. It's just really speaking to that spirituality in all women. I haven't read it yet, but it's really interesting that the title says God Wears Lipstick because, I feel that God is a woman. And, some of my friends and family members about to be like, girl, that is blasphemy. But okay, I think that is all that I have for today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to my chitter chatter and about the books that I'm reading. So I will check in with you guys a little later, let you know how it's going. The books that I've read so far, I've loved, and I feel have really been beneficial to me. As far as my personal growth and development, and the ones that I have yet to read, I am very excited to do so. So I will check back in with you guys, let you know what other books I've picked up and if I've gotten through any of these other ones that I haven't read. So if you have any questions, comments, please do leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time.